Time travel is impossible. I got my friends and my family to just dress up in these bizarre futuristic outfits and populate the scene as extras. This takes me back. I kind of have this recurring theme of doing homages or covering the whole Back to the Future trilogy, and this was the first time I did something to do with that.
What the hell is going on here?
It wasn't a video about the movies, but it was about time travel. It was like a viral video where somebody claimed that there's like a anachronistic person in an old piece of footage. So the whole thing was kind of shot in this style of one of those like video waiters from Back to the Future Part 2, where it's just kind of a glitchy Max Headroom type presentation. But I wanted a big finish for the end of it. So I came up with this shot of just revealing that this whole thing is happening in that whimsical 2015 future of Back to the Future Part 2. I just thought I could pull off like a big oneer, one single take shot in a location that feels like that town square in the future. So there's this police station in my city that just has this very modern architecture, and I was like, if I could film this here somehow, this would look pretty epic. So I went about the process of getting a permit and explaining to the police what this weird thing I want to film, and we got there on a Sunday morning. We were allowed to do it. I got my friends and my family to just dress up in these sort of bizarre futuristic outfits and populate the scene as extras. To get the shot, I didn't even have like a gimbal or anything, a Steadicam at the time. I didn't really have a person who could do it that I work with regularly, so I reached out to a friend of mine who was like a professional cinematographer and camera guy specializing in all these specialty shots with gimbals and drones and stuff. And he came by and we put my old Panasonic HVX200 camera on this brand new gimbal. And he did a few takes of this very, very beautiful multi-stage gimbal shot where I come out of these doors and I walk through this area. And we coordinated everyone walking around at just the right moment. I erased the police department's signage and put my own thing on there. I put a digital billboard for a friend of mine, musician called George Robb. But in order to put all those digital elements in there, I needed to do a 3D track of the shot. And I didn't really, at that time, know how to do that stuff that well. I was just dabbling in the more advanced tracking, like in software like SynthEyes, like super specialized, fancy camera movements. So I somehow got through it. I did it a bunch of times and I somehow like got a decent track, almost. There's a part in the shot that actually kind of pushes into a close-up of me right before this angle, because this digital car had to be there the whole time. But by the time we got to this angle, it started wobbling around because I just couldn't get the track perfect in that spot. So yeah, I kind of zoom in and then I pull back to reveal this car. I had my mom and dad walk by to like add to the illusion that this is a real thing because they walked in front of it, and I just like rotoscoped them by hand. I don't think I even had After Effects had rotobrush in it, like I had to just do it by hand. Maybe I'm wrong about the timing of that, but anyway. And so this model was created by an artist called Chris Kuhn, I think was his name, and he made a bunch of cool like assets from movies for free and put it up on the internet. So it was already rigged to be able to do those wheel turns and stuff. I kind of just hand animated it. I didn't really know how to even match lighting at that time, so it kind of looks a little bit old school. But it looks charming, I think, because in Back to the Future Part 2, they were doing things in really difficult optical ways, and it looks beautiful, but the compositing is not like by today's standards. And so that's why mine was not that good either. I was going for that. So this car flies around. Again, I kind of used like a Luma matte, which is when you like bring up the contrast and take out the color to where this just becomes a silhouette of this palm tree, just a black over the white. And I was able to get the car to spin around behind the tree and then kind of almost go crashing into me, but go up at the last moment, and I duck in frame. And luckily, this particular model that this guy made actually had a bottom part of it modeled. A lot of times you'll get vehicles and things and they don't bother with the underside because who's going to look at that? So among the extras, there is my girlfriend Emily floating by on a hoverboard, which was done in a pretty primitive way. She was just on a skateboard. We played around with it and we had it on hand, and it kind of looked futuristic. It had that neon sort of color to it. And so she just like rode by on it, and I did my best to just erase the wheels. It all kind of came together. Now when I look at it, I see all the flaws, but I look back at this and I think it was like a really worthy effort, and I like how this came out. So I just had my family throwing garbage at me as I start spinning on the floor. I'm sure it looked really ridiculous to anyone if they were to walk in, but that's what you do for art. I bring it in quickly, I get it out fast. The joke of throwing them and them breaking developed from the fact that it's just less manual tracking.